Happy Monday! And welcome to the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Head to any Circle K Arizona location where you can get any size or pop or froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd. I am Anthony Totri, joined every now and again by the legend herself, Arizona State softball superstar, Kelsey Hall.
I need to come back more often because every time the introduction gets more and more elaborate, it's a real confidence booster.
What
But
do we
hi,
go
guys.
with next? What do we go with next? The Queen?
The
Queen Hall?
The Queen's a little much.
Yeah,
I
just
think
a tad.
That's where we draw the line.
Oh my goodness, guys. How is everybody doing? Do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We got DJ Danielle behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. We are going to be talking all things NIL, transfer portal. We're going to do a little bit of an audible snake draft this Monday. Normally we save that for Wednesday, but because this week is totally different and my normal co-hosts, Shane Diefenbach and Eric Ruby, have abandoned me, they've left me stranded on an island, I've had to call in even better replacements. So Kelsey Hall, Ralph Amson's going to be joining me later on this week, and a couple more surprises throughout this week. Before we get started into our conversations about the transfer portal, NIL, that stuff, how is the ACL recovery?
The ACL recovery is going. For people that don't know, I tore my ACL for the second time, my other knee, the last game of season, regular season, our last game against UCLA. I'm about 2 months out of surgery, and no complaints. I feel like, honestly, this one's going a lot easier than my last one. Maybe it's because I've already been through it, so I know what the difference between different types of pains, discomforts are. But luckily, ASU has been absolutely amazing. I've had PT nearly 5 times. It's 3 to 5 times a week, so smooth sailing. I get to hang out here in Arizona and get to be called up when people don't show up. So shout out Shane and Eric for not showing up, because then I get to show up here.
There we go.
So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I love being here.
Eric's on his honeymoon, which congratulations to
Okay,
Eric.
that's valid. What about Shane?
Shane and Leah have departed for 18 days to explore Europe. So they are on a venture.
Europe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, podcast is like, and then Portugal, like right here. It's like one and the same.
Actually, like down here.
Literally. But you brought up the fact that this is your second time dealing with an ACL and knee injury. First time occurred at one of your former schools, right? You've been to Boise State, Fresno State, all over the map, right? You played in a bunch of different conferences. Now you're going to be in the Big 12 this season. I do want to get into the transfer portal, not just as it relates to college softball, but really football, basketball, baseball. It's a crazy landscape now versus when you first started, right? When you first started college softball, like when you first got like the nod, right? Or you knew that you were going to be going to play collegiate softball. What was your awareness of the transfer portal and like what it could do for you?
It was almost non-existent. Like there was never a thought, especially once I was at Fresno State. Originally, there was no thought of me ever going into the portal, and the idea of the portal, especially like travel ball, was very non-existent. So when I committed back in the day to U of O, that was like, okay, that's where I'm going to be spending my 4 years. I was making that decision when I was 13, I think. So it really, it's crazy. It's crazy.
13?
Yes, I was or maybe 13, 14.
Wow.
I was going into my freshman year of high school and making those decisions. So I'm glad that rule has changed. But with that being said, going back to the portal, it's just now I feel like it's more prevalent than the idea of staying somewhere for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was never a thought until it's taken over the world almost.
Yeah, it literally is like collegiate sports free agency. And I know there's such a big focus on football and basketball, but I don't think people truly realize that it's like it's a thing in softball, it's a thing in wrestling, it's a thing in swim and dive. Like it is a thing in all collegiate sports because now you can literally every year, if you wanted to, you could go to a different university, have everything paid for, and really just build your brand as an athlete. If you don't get playing time at a certain spot, you can go bounce and do what you want there. For you, when you first entered the portal the first time, what was it about for you and what kind of surprised you through that process?
Well, first, before even talking about that, you mentioned the fact that if you don't get playing time, you can go somewhere else. If you don't like something that you weren't presented when you were being recruited, you can go somewhere else. I definitely think there's good and bad about it, right? Like there's anytime you're on your recruiting visit, especially I'm on the other side of it now because I've been out of school for a year. And then now it's like we're the ones trying to tell people why to come here. And so you definitely get everybody's A game. You definitely get everybody presenting their best selves. And it's very, very rare that you get a host or you get coaches or players that tell you the nitty gritty of like, you know what, this isn't good about this, right? Like, so there's a lot of stuff you don't know when you're in the recruiting process. But hi, Sharon. But with that being said, I think that is one of the reasons I would be a con of the transfer portal. But so my first experience in the portal was from Fresno State to Boise State. It was an in-conference transfer, which I wasn't necessarily right. Yeah. So the first time we had played Fresno State when I was at Boise, it was definitely a nerve-wracking experience. I was so anxious. But there were different coaches, which was the main reason why I had left. And so it wasn't I was the only person that left. It was nearly, I think 8 or 9 of us went in the portal from Fresno. So it was like a totally different team. Yeah. But when I was in the portal itself, I think it's definitely an experience to think of. You get to ask the questions that you realize are valuable to you. Yeah. So if that makes sense. So when you're in high school getting recruited, you're thinking about, what are the facilities? What meal plan for freshmen? You're not thinking of the in-depth, the culture, the ins and outs, the inner dynamic between sports. You're not thinking of the things that really matter to you. So I think you get to understand a school in a different way, which I think is really cool. I thought it was interesting. My first and second time in the portal, they were very, very different, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But so it was a pretty quick, pretty easy. My coach at Boise was the coach that recruited me to Fresno. Oh, wow. So that was the biggest reason why I chose Boise. And so it was pretty simple, like cut and dry. I had reached out to him and that was something I was comfortable with. Yeah. And I didn't have a lot of playing time because I had COVID, tore my ACL after opening weekend.
Jeez, you just got your ass kicked.
Yeah. No, I literally sat there and we could talk about this one day in life, guys, where I sat there and I was so low and I was thinking, is college softball ever going to be for me? Yeah. I don't understand. What is this thing called the pandemic? What is this? Okay, I'm finally in shape. I'm doing everything I can. And then I blow out my knee when I've never been an injury kid. Yeah. It was just like, what is the idea of college athletics? And then, so that was actually the one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go in the portal as well. I was like, clearly something's not working here for me at Fresno State. It had nothing to do. I loved the campus. I loved so many of the friends I'd made. But with that being said, it was just time to make a change. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was a pretty simple situation. I didn't probably ask as many questions because it was more of like I needed someone to choose me versus like me choosing someone.
Yeah, it was a totally different experience versus the situation we'll talk about the second time where you entered the portal. We do have Clinton here. We've got Sharon. We've got Lonnie as well with the $5 super chat. Love Lonnie. Good afternoon from Northeast Kansas and go Big 12.
What up, Lonnie?
I can't wait for the season. I just can't wait for all of the sports to start playing Big 12 competition.
I can't wait to go to football games. And that's weird for me to say because usually I'm not one to admit that. But with that being said, I think the games and the competition is just going to be so much more fast paced, so much more offense. And it's just going to be, it's going to be exciting.
The environment is going to be totally different.
Absolutely.
When it comes to, I don't think not just Big 12 football, but basketball, softball as well. I think the we brought this up, I think last week on the show. I was talking with Eric about some of the quote unquote non-revenue sports, right? Outside of football and basketball.
Mhm.
And it's like the Pac-12 for softball was just such an elite.
Yeah.
It was the conference. You could argue better than the SEC. What makes the SEC is that they have Oklahoma,
Mhm.
right? And it's now you go to the Big 12, Arizona State. I feel like you guys can build something in the Big 12, a fresh start, clean slate for you guys. With Coach B trying to rebuild this program and get it to where it's been historically. But going back to the transfer portal, you bring up that situation, right, where you're going through the injury and then you hit the portal and it's like, okay, I need somebody to pick me, right? You need to see what I did prior to this and think that I still have it. And I feel like now when it comes to the transfer portal, we brought up the roster limits kind of changing in a bunch of different sports last week. Now it's like, okay, these coaches can take chances on JUCO kids. They can add more players to the roster. But I feel like it's also an opportunity now where for like football, for example, they're up to like 105 scholarships.
Mhm.
Whereas like if you're not playing, you can just hit the portal and be like, okay, I'm going to go. There's bound to be a school that will give me the opportunity. Now for softball, it is a little bit more of I feel like a little bit more competitive because it is a smaller roster. There's not 105 softball players out there. So it does make it a little bit more challenging. But when you have the type of season that you have at Boise State, and then it's like, okay, now I can hit the portal. And now it's like, okay, everybody wants me, right? It's a totally different situation that second time that you hit the portal than the first one, right?
Yeah. And that's another huge point that I don't think people talk about. I think it's probably a little different, like you said, in football, in basketball. There are so many opportunities to find money, to find security, to find something, right? With, at least from what my understanding is, obviously I'm most savvy in softball. It truly is a gamble when you go into the portal. You don't know. We don't have as many scholarships. It is a smaller roster limit. And so it's really like when you're leaving something, you don't know what, I mean, unless you're doing it illegally, you know, you really,
which does happen, a lot of the time.
Absolutely. It does happen, but you don't know what you're going to get. And you don't know if the grass is always greener.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't understand as well, is that there's this preconceived idea that, oh, okay, I'll just go in the portal. Okay, I'll figure it out. But there's so many athletes that don't ever find a home outside of where they were. So I think that is a huge, again, a reality of the portal that people don't talk about. But like you mentioned, for me, I was very fortunate to have 2 very decent years under my belt at Boise.
She's being humble.
Thanks.
Decent.
Thanks, Totri.
Come on now.
But I had very good years under my belt to where I got that attention from schools. And again, thankful to the fact that Boise State, we were a top 25 program at times. We were at a platform enough and having the competition to where you can have good years at lower level schools that don't mean as much compared to the Mountain West. Like Mountain West is a very legit mid-major conference. And so for me, I went in the portal and I genuinely was going in blind eye. And I think because I have the opportunity to be, so like I said, I got my first 2 years back. So I have 2 good years. I'm old as hell, shouldn't be in college athletics anymore. I should be moving on with my life. But then joke's on you guys. Here I am with 2 years left. And it's like, why not? Let's see where it takes me. I have nothing but good things to say about Boise State. But you know what? My time here is over. And things aren't aligning and it's just time. And so then once I went into the portal, it was madness, to be completely honest. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was the best experience. I think we've talked about this before. I sat at that table in my backyard in Boise for 3 days. I had a notebook. I didn't move. I was like, no one come out here. I'm connecting with schools. I'm like, holy crap, you even know who I am.
It was like an interview process.
Yeah, it was. But what was the craziest part was that, again, at this point, I didn't have to sell myself. Like when you have a conference player of the year, when you have comeback player of the year under your belt, like I had the grateful opportunity for it that I didn't need to be like, okay, this is why you should pick me, unless it comes to the other side of it. Like, what do you bring outside of your performance? Obviously. Do you bring leadership? Do you bring work ethic? Do you bring like all the qualities? But it was literally some Power 5 schools. A couple of them, I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is just crazy that we're talking. And so that was such an amazing experience. And at the end of the day, I would never change it. And I'm very glad that I am where I am.
So what were some of those schools that you had those conversations with? Obviously, you ended up choosing Arizona State for the opportunity and, you know, the reasons that you did. But what were some of those schools? Because I feel like when it comes to the transfer portal, there are a lot of people that see, okay, they hit the portal and they'll see the tweet of like, oh, this person's interested, and they end up at that one school, and then that was it. But like for you mentioned, like, again, being around softball your entire life, watching collegiate softball, like you're like, these are programs, like ones that you grew up watching that are like, okay, now they're selling themselves.
Yeah, it's
to
like,
you.
Whoa, this is insane. I would say that I got the opportunity to talk to a lot of, again, awesome schools. Some of them that I think off the top of my head. I got to be in contact with like Florida State, which is a World Series renowned team.
Yeah.
I visited UCF. I visited South Carolina. I was in contact with some of the Florida coaches and just a couple other schools and some Big 12 schools. I got to talk to BYU, PAC. I got to talk to Oregon State, Cal. Just the list was actually pretty cool. I got to talk to Duke, and it was really cool to hear. And some of the schools, like obviously, it just didn't align where they were at. But with that being said, I got to hear the philosophies and mindsets of so many amazing coaches.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I got to talk to Florida State, she had responded, and at that point, I was getting reached out to by a good amount of schools, so I was getting a little cocky. I was like, sure, I'll reach out to Florida State. Why not? Like, what's gonna happen, you know? And she had responded to me, and I had told her, oh, like, thank you so much, but I've committed to Arizona State. And a respected, just strong woman said, I wish nothing but the best for you. Megan Bartlett's amazing. Like, you're going to do amazing. I was like, just like these people that are so glorified on the camera, and you always wonder who that person really is. Like, they can take the time and just be good people, which I think you never really see, and you always kind of assume the worst out of these coaches, which
there are some bad ones. There are some bad
ones.
Which
is fair. There are some not very good ones, but I got the opportunity to just be like receive information and knowledge from some pretty cool schools.
What was the biggest selling point, do you think, that these schools, like when you were sitting out there in your backyard and you're having these conversations and you have the notepad and you're just kind of jotting these things down, what was like the selling point for them? Because you bring up in football and in basketball, right? It is a lot about the money and that type of stuff when it comes to the transfer portal. Like, this is, certain sports are such a unique thing, right? Because there isn't as much NIL money in softball, in baseball even, as there is for football and basketball. Absolutely. Like, there are people that quite literally enter the portal knowing where they're going to go because there is illegal tampering in these sports. And they do get contacts from coaches, from agents being like, hey, all you got to do is transfer here and you're getting money. I know a couple different situations at Arizona State where players were offered money illegally by opposing schools and declined it in the summer, and then still end up transferring at a later time, right? So it's mind-blowing that in other sports, right, it does feel like it's more of like a fit. Okay, where's the best place for me to go, versus it's like, okay, now it's just like for money. It's free agency, right? So I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I think it definitely depends on the person. So again, I'm one of the classified probably as an old soul in college softball because I was around and I was in travel ball and I was being recruited before NIL was a target selling point. So to be completely honest, NIL doesn't even come to my mind as a point, or for me, I never once, obviously, you ask about the scholarship for the sake of your schooling and your living, but it was more in the sense of having a sustainable life versus, okay, how am I going to make an income off of my college athletic experience, because that just doesn't come to my mind.
Yeah, it'd be nice though.
And I wouldn't mind if anybody here listening wants to provide some NIL. I will work for it. So don't worry, I would love it. But when I was in the transfer portal, though, it was never how much money are you going to put into my bank account type of deal. So again, I'm sure those same coaches, though, with other people in the portal had to have those conversations. So I think it really I think coaches are smart enough to almost a little bit adapt to who they're talking to if they really want them.
Mhm.
And so for me, a lot of the schools and what we were talking about was leadership and opportunities to make an impact on the program, be a team captain, and do all of the things in that sort, because that is really, when it comes to my college experience, that's what I want to remember.
Yeah.
I want to remember the fact, and that's one of the biggest reasons I chose ASU, is I had the opportunity, or at least I was presented, which it has been happening, an opportunity to where I can come to an amazing, like you said, historically successful program, and it can be far enough away but close enough to home, and I get to come, and it's a team that wants to be led. They're looking for a leader. They're looking for people that want to speak up with their actions and their words. So that for me was a lot of, and especially again, talking about that 6th year, a lot of the conversations, because there were so many 5th years last year. But with that being said, how many 6 years are left? I'm the only grad student on
The team.
now.
Yeah.
So it's, where are we going to use that wisdom, as someone would call it, or that
Wisdom.
experience?
Do you feel like you're wise when it comes to college softball?
I have to be. What else would this be good for? If I was going into my 6th year and I didn't know anything.
6th year, man.
6th year, 3rd school. How many different coaches have I worked with?
I mean, that's
teammates.
Yeah, you've had a lot of teammates.
I've had a lot of coaches, a lot of teammates, and a lot of different things happening.
Yeah.
So I have yet to experience something new, to be honest.
Crazy. Look, we're going to continue talking about the transfer portal in NIL. Make sure you hit that like button. We got another super chat from Lonnie. Are you ready for the second, alluding to the fact that it officially goes through? Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona join the Big 12 on the 1st. So it is crazy that we're having this conversation, but it's where college sports is heading. Conference realignment, the transfer portal, NIL continues to grow every single day. Daniel Berry Sports highlights. Hey, everyone, happy Monday. It is a happy Monday, right, Kelsey?
It is. It's a great Monday. We get to be here.
What's your favorite day of the week? The other days won't be offended, I promise.
No, yeah, don't worry. I don't think they'll take it personal.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a fan of Wednesdays through Friday.
Oh, Wednesday through Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
but
a trio
like
of days.
ideally, probably Wednesday, I feel like is always like a really productive. You're not looking towards anything. But with that being said, as soon as it's done, you're basically at the weekend.
That's fair. Do you have a least favorite day of the week?
Probably like Tuesday.
Tuesday? Oh,
Because
tomorrow's
Monday,
gonna be rough for you, huh?
Because Mondays, if you're thinking about it, start of the week, new motivation, like you're in control. Tuesday, you're like, all right. Like,
you're like, it's just
yeah, it's all right.
I mean, yeah.
Wednesdays, I feel like, are always a solid day.
I think Wednesdays are solid because it's like, okay, I'm in the middle of the week.
Exactly.
I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly what I've got left. Thursday is just like the other side of Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're all right. You're just like the prequel to Friday. Like nobody
like
really
Sundays.
cares. You like Sundays?
I like Sundays.
I only like Sundays when it's football season.
We get it. You like sports.
Oh my gosh.
We
Says
get
the
it.
softball player going into what? Year 7, year 8?
Enough.
There we go. There we go. Look, guys, I want to tell you about one of our brand new partners, Sanderson Ford. The Sanderson Ford Summer Sales Event is here, and they are teaming up with the Boys of Summer for a final playoff payoff sale. They are pushing for the playoffs, and you get the payoffs like deals on 24 Ford Bronco Sport Big Ben, just ranked highest in quality in its segment by J.D. Power. Release one today for as low as $299 a month for 36 months with only 10% cash down. We are so happy to have Sanderson Ford on board the PHNX Sports Train, guys. Purchase or lease any new Ford and get 4 tickets for your family to see the D-backs push for the playoffs. Get 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details. And look, if you are in the market for a new car, maybe you're also in the market for a new place to store your money. Desert Financial, they're the go-to option. They're the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University, and they've been doing it for longer than Kelsey Hall has been playing college softball.
Not
They've been
saying
doing
something.
it for more than 84 years. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there is no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place that you could show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams. If you want a Diamondbacks one, they got one. If you want an Arizona State one, they got one. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. Lonnie in the chat, are you going to be live on the 2nd at 11 p.m. for the countdown? I'm not sure yet.
That's good content right there.
It is. But like
Lonnie.
I said, I've been abandoned. Okay.
Yeah, you have been.
Yeah. Maybe I can call them. Like we'll do it like New Year's, you know?
Like a Zoom?
Yeah. Eric will be, I don't know where Eric is for his honeymoon, and then we'll get Shane and wherever they're going to be in Europe. I'm so jealous of that trip that they're going on.
I'm jealous of all the above. I'm sure his newly wife would put her foot down and say, listen,
no.
Totri can do this on his own.
Yeah. I mean, I can't though. It's just.
It can't be a one-man show here at PHNX.
Not
this
all
is
the
a
time.
team. We all step up.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll look in the portal. I'll see if there's any podcasters.
You low-key did for me showing up.
That's fair. This is quality talent, guys. Quality podcaster right here. Kelsey Hall. Kelsey, in terms of NIL, that's something that, again, is just so different as it relates to college athletics now. Like, and don't get me wrong, players were getting paid under the table in certain sports for a long time from really, really big programs. But now that it is legal in a sense, right? You do have programs like an Arizona State, a Florida State, Florida even, that can match money because of collectives, because of donors, because of local business deals that, you know, the giants like in Oklahoma, Texas, and Alabama, we're paying not just football players, but baseball, basketball, softball, golf, like the list goes on and on. For you, have you had NIL conversations? Like, when the transfer portal was going on the second go around, like NIL was a thing. I know you said that there was more of a focus on softball, but was that ever a part of a pitch?
Yeah, of course it was a part of a pitch, especially now, like you said. Teams need to keep up at the end of the day. Just because it wasn't a conversation, the coaches were probably like, you know what, this will soften the conversation that we're having right now for the opportunities. And every school that you talk to had said something of the sorts about NIL to some degree. I think with that being said, I think a lot of schools will use that to take away from the scholarship itself, because with partial scholarships in softball, they can give you less of a scholarship percentage, but they're going to make up for it in NIL, right? And so for me, I probably should have done a little more research with that idea, because like I said, that's such a foreign concept to me. But I think there are other girls, especially in softball now, like we were talking about, that are getting that advantage to have that conversation about NIL. But with that being said, I think one of the biggest things here, since being at ASU and being able to have established myself within the community, I've had a lot more conversations with local businesses and recognizing how important their support is. Also, how much support is coming from alumni, how much is coming from local businesses, and they truly do want to give back and support in any way that they can. So I would say I've had more conversations about NIL now than I did being recruited here. And I think probably a big part of that was the fact that there were so many of us, and there was like, who really is that person? Because I mean, what NIL is name, image, likeness. And who are you? I mean, just as much as we're seeing the good side of these schools, they're seeing the good side of us. So are these local businesses going to want to put up dollars for NIL just based off of, unless you are said athletes that are just lights out? People really, what I really appreciate about local business NIL is that they want to work with the person and not just the athlete, if that makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely. They want to help, right? They want to see what's best for the athlete versus, again, just like pay for play at that point, right? So it is such a weird landscape. And again, some schools are able to offer so much more money for opportunities. And then there are some schools that you see an NIL deal and you're like, how in the hell did they find a way to do that?
To make that happen.
But you bring up, I'm going to totally butcher her name.
NiJaree Canady.
There we go. Transferring from Stanford to Texas Tech. Shout out Jalen Conyers. Transferring. $1.2 million NIL deal to transfer from Stanford to Tech. She is one of, if not the best players in all of college softball. I think it was right after your guys' series with Stanford, you had came on, or we had a conversation, and you're like, she was just throwing gas the entire time. Like she's incredible. $1.2 million. Like, can you fathom like a school being like, hey, we want you to come play for us for likely 1 to 2 years, maybe. We'll give you $1.2 million.
I can't even fathom how much money 1.2 million is. How do they disperse that? And she has 2 years of eligibility left. So she'll be getting 2.4 plus whatever else NIL that she gets, plus whatever else her scholarship is.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know who this is that we're talking about, she USA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
She was recognized as the best player in college softball last year. So I think with that being said, I think there's so much that happens obviously behind the scenes that we don't know about. I wish I could say that I knew her personally and knew all the reasonings to talk about it, but I don't. I think there's a lot of people on social media criticizing her for saying, all right, with that being said, I had to look up what conference Texas Tech was in. So now we know she's chasing money, not natties. With that being said, this woman has gotten the opportunity to take Stanford to the World Series 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. And I think taking credit for, like, she has put a team on her back, and for whatever we don't know, I think there's so many things you can talk about that outside of NIL with student athletes. She's from Kansas. Maybe she has family in Lubbock. Maybe she has, maybe they also offered her money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's so many reasons that people do things, and to criticize, what would you do if you were offered 1.2 million?
Exactly. That's
what would you
money.
do if you were offered 2+ to play the sport you love and be really dang good at it?
Yeah. I mean, we've had this conversation on the show, me, Eric, and Shane. It's like, love where we work, but if there was another podcast company that was like, hey, we're going to give you $1 million
to come do exactly what you're doing now,
you're gonna do what you got to do. Again, that's life-changing money for a college athlete who's going to set herself up to succeed for, years and years to come. Like, that is a perfect situation. Anybody saying that they wouldn't is full of shit. The Sporting News reported that the previous high for a softball pitcher was believed to be about $175,000 for NIL. She changed the game. Absolutely reset the market.
Abbott?
I don't know.
It was either Monica Abbott and it's another pitcher. So I think that was another point I was going to talk about, going back to the portal conversation.
Time to change positions, Kelsey.
I've messed up. I messed up. When I was 10 years old, I tried to be a pitcher. And
did you really?
Yes. My travel ball coach had told me, if you ever want to play college softball, pitching's not for you. And so I was like, you know what? Fair enough. I can swing a bat. And I think I'm doing all right at it.
I'd say you're doing all right at swinging the bat.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't wrong. Guess we'll never know. But you think about that, and for example, like, it's almost like, I feel like a Wi-Fi. Like, the Wi-Fi center is the pitcher. And then you go out and out for I don't want to say it as if outfielders, aka me, aren't valuable, but when it comes to scholarships, outfielders are looked at as less of a priority for where they're putting their money than someone like NiJaree Canady. Yeah. If that makes sense. And so I think it's absolutely amazing. You look at the difference, and you look at how people are investing in women's sports and the conversations that you're having, and people are putting their money where their mouth is. And I think it'll be a very interesting, that coach, actually, it's a new coach at Texas Tech coming from Louisiana Lafayette, taking so many of his girls there. And I'm very curious to see if it's If they get back to the World Series, it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
That girl's the real deal.
Were you a little bummed to see that she's going to Tech and you still have to play her in the Big 12 now?
I will not say I was bummed. I love the competition.
Yeah, I was just about to say, knowing you, you're right. You're like, game one. I want it. Like,
you know what? I will say, though, it was a feeling of like, damn. I was betting on the SEC. I was betting on Texas or Oklahoma, like whoever could put their money where their mouth was. But I respect the fact she's going to an underdog.
I do too.
I respect it.
Like I'm good on the Oklahoma train.
But it could have been an SEC.
Yeah.
It could have been an SEC underdog, not a Big 12, but you know what?
Imagine if it was Oak State.
That would be wild.
That would have been wild.
I low-key thought because Washington's ace, Ruby Mayland, she went to Oklahoma State.
This past offseason?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, can you imagine if they would have got both of them?
Yeah, that would have been unreal.
That would have been absolutely disgusting to have them both there.
But I guess we'll see. Big 12 will continue to be fun. You guys have to keep watching us.
God, and you got to hit a dinger offer. And then you can go back and be like, okay, I need a milli.
Yeah,
like
I will come back for my 7th year.
Put
your money.
Look, Cam Rising, the quarterback at Utah.
How is that allowed?
I don't know, but he's been the quarterback at Utah since I was in college.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I don't understand how that one. You know what, though? NCAA would probably pay me $1 million to be like, dude, hang him up.
Be like, you need to be done.
We need other athletes here. Youthful, healthy knees.
You had a healthy knee up until the last game.
A healthy knee. That was unreal. That was like a movie. I cried once it like actually happened.
Yeah.
Or like as it was happening because I was just so scared. I didn't cry when they told me it was torn. I just laughed. I was like, come on, bro.
That's tough. You're getting beat up out there. I remember one of the games that I had gone to. I think you fucked up your ankle. And then you were also, I think, hit by a pitch.
Yeah.
At one of the points.
Did you see the video I posted, the TikTok?
Yes.
Of
Holy
Cal. I got hit in the ribs so hard I thought I broke my ribs. They were literally so bruised, and I did a literal like 360.
It was like a cartoon fall. It was like a Looney Tunes.
And the ball goes all the way to their dugout. Like that's how hard it ricocheted off of me.
God, that's tough. That's tough.
It's all right. Character development.
Is that what it is for the main character?
Really
it's a plot line.
Is.
It's a plot line.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you know how it all goes to like really like crappy. And then it comes out. Maybe the turnaround will be the Millie. Millie or Natty? Which one?
Millie or a Natty? I mean, yeah.
Could you imagine we come back, have a Natty?
That would be wild. I mean, that again, and I think that's what people that are like a year by year basis of college sports, and they don't usually like, they're not in the weeds of like the thick of what's going on all year. Like all it takes is one of those to completely redefine your program. If Arizona State were to go into the softball season and win the national championship, I mean, you're everywhere in terms of like branding. Every major company is talking to the players, the athletes. Everyone's talking about you guys, dethroning Oklahoma, which has been the biggest powerhouse in college sports, not just college softball, college sports for years on end. And then every recruit wants to come to you. Every major transfer portal player with 1 year left wants to come to you.
Yeah.
Like it resets you.
Well, that's what I think I've experienced is so interesting now. And again, I think the mindset is so different considering, like I've mentioned, I'm not supposed to be playing college softball still. But I think the mindset is so different considering now it's cat's out of the bag. Didn't have the best season last year, right? So with that being said, like you have recruits come in and basically you're trying to sell yourself to them because they said, well, you didn't do well last year. You guys lost. You guys this. And it's like, you look at some of these schools and it is like, you look at Alabama the last couple of years, didn't do that well. They're Alabama, right? And it's like the mindset is so different of like, I have one more year. I want to go to a team where I know we're going to win. Unless you're going to Texas or Oklahoma, there is no guarantee. And even those schools, there's no guarantee because it is so different, especially with the portal, especially with players leaving, graduating. It's always also different. And I think people are they can't do the year to year exactly like you said. It could be totally different.
Yeah. And that's why I think they show up at the start of a season in one school goes crazy and they're like, what the hell? Like, how did this school, like, out of nowhere? But in reality, it's not out of nowhere. It's been months and months of recruiting, getting players to come to your school, and then getting players to stay at your school, right? Again, a big part is the transfer portal, NIL. Like, being a top player in the current age of the transfer portal, you could have hopped in the portal again if you really wanted to, right? And
which is,
gone to
I
a
didn't
school,
even know that. That's
which
crazy.
is crazy.
Like, someone made a comment to me. They were like, "Oh, I really hope you stay here," and I was like, I don't even think I could go
No, you
anywhere.
could.
This is my third school, and someone explained to me that I could, and I was like, how is that even legal now?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
But I will say, in the last thing before we move on to our snake draft here, is like, one thing that I think a lot of people are upset about when it comes to the transfer portal and NIL is you lose fan favorites, right? You lose players like years ago when ASU lost Sidney Sanders, who was just an absolute stud
She's
as
an
a
animal.
freshman and then transferred to Oklahoma. People were butthurt about it. Or even the Jaden Rashada situation with the football team, or Frankie Collins with the basketball team, right? But like, you lose those players, which, yes, that does suck. But a different fan base gets to welcome them as a part of their program, and they get to establish a legacy there. And again, if the transfer portal didn't exist in the way it does now, Arizona State doesn't get you. Arizona State doesn't originally get a Jalen Conyers. They don't originally get a Frankie Collins who transferred from Michigan to ASU. Like, it's a cycle now.
Yeah, there's so many different pros and cons to it, because you can look at it in that way. You lose so many people. There's lack of loyalty, this or that. But let's talk about how we welcome Cam here to ASU, carrying the team on his back. I have the opportunity to be here and say how thankful I am for ASU and the people that have bought my merch, that I would have had no clue, like, who, like, they would have not even known who I was if I was at Fresno State still.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that was
That'd
such
be a
a
tragedy.
different...
It'd be a tragedy.
It'd be a tragedy. That would be, because Arizona has been absolutely amazing, and I am so thankful for it. And I don't think people recognize that these athletes are athletes on the field, but it is our lives on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And the hostility of, oh, well, you weren't here. Let's flip it to the fact of, like, wow, we get to have you. Unfortunately, yes. Like, I would have loved to play with Sid, but who knows if I would have even been here.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, like you said, it's a cycle. You give and take. But at the end of the day, we all just have to evolve.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'll tell you who's evolving. It's Circle K with their new free membership program, Inner Circle. It's going to help you guys save money every single day. And I'll be honest with you guys, just you and me here in this economy, you need to be saving money at any chance you can get. We're not all getting $1.1 million NIL deals. Okay. Look, you could save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups with Inner Circle, and they're going to help you save money every single day after that. You can save 3 cents per gallon every day, and thirst has officially met its match. Enjoy your member exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle is going to help you guys get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents now through September 3rd at any Arizona location. And you know there is a ton of them. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And I don't know if you guys can tell, okay? I'm a little burned here, okay? Like, the back of my neck is like really red. My arms, I've got a horrendous tan line all over.
It's not very good.
It's not good.
I can attest to that.
Thanks, Kelsey. I appreciate you. But I'll tell you what, my eyes were protected all weekend while I was out golfing out by the pool, and that is thanks to Shady Rays. Just because it's hot outside doesn't mean you can't be comfortable. You don't want to go blind out there, okay? So if you're out on the patio, having a beer with some friends, make sure you got your Shady Rays. If you're kicking it by the pool, make sure you got your Shady Rays. They have a ton of different styles. Okay, they've got a bunch of different colors. So if you are a sports fan, which I bet a lot of you are, odds are they've got a style and a color that meets what you like. Plus, if your shades ever go missing, maybe they take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. And the best part, guys, if you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. It's a lot of people. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review if you haven't already. Will in the chat, snake draft on a Monday, question mark? Absolutely will. We're going to do things a little bit different this entire week. We've obviously got fall camp starting on Wednesday. Make sure you tap in for that show. I'm going to be joined by Ralph Ampson. We're going to have a hell of a time talking ASU football. Also, do us a solid. Head to gophnx.com right now. Open the tab. Leave this one open, okay? And I'm going to walk you through the instructions. As soon as you get to gophnx.com, you're going to hit that little diehard tab, and it's going to tell you everything that you unlock when you become a PHNX diehard, and it is a long list. You're going to get access to the diehard Discord. You're going to get discounts on events, on merch. You're going to get a free t-shirt of your choice from the locker for free every single year with that diehard membership. You're also going to get a diehard membership card, access to all of our premium written content. The list goes on, and now is the perfect time to take advantage of that diehard membership, because if you go to the PHNX locker right now, we have got some absolute killer shirts. I just got my taco truck shirt last week, and my goodness, it is incredible. It is absolutely amazing.
I told you I want that taco truck shirt.
We'll have a conversation with Saul. We'll get you a Valley Collection shirt for sure. We've also got the State 48 shirt there. We've got the PHNX University. The list goes on and on. So make sure, again, you head to gophnx.com and you click that diehard tab. Sign up to become a PHNX diehard. Look, we talked transfer portal. We talked NIL. We are going to do a snake draft, because normally we do snake drafts on Wednesdays, middle of the week. That's why it's one of my favorite days, right?
Of course.
Because you get snake drafts. But as soon as the football season starts, it's over. Snake drafts wait until the following summer. That's the way we've done it for the last couple of years. So I figured we'd do a snake draft today. Maybe we'll even do a snake draft tomorrow, just to wrap up the season before we get to football. So, Kelsey, I don't know about you. I'm a foodie. I love food. I love all types of food, except horseradish. I fucking hate horseradish. It's awful. So I feel like we
personal.
No. Look at me, horseradish. Whoever invented horseradish, fuck you. It's that bad. It's awful. My goodness. Danielle, do you like horseradish? Because I feel like you and me, we do not have very similar tastes when it comes to food.
We really don't like any of the same things.
No, absolutely not.
I don't mess around with horseradish. No,
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got.
I don't run into it too much in my daily life.
That's where we find unity.
Yeah, the treaty of horseradish, right there. So we are going to be drafting foods. We are not going to be drafting like types of cuisine. So you can't draft like all Italian food. If you want to draft like pizza, boom. Okay. But the more specific.
So not like genres of food.
Exactly.
It's like the actual meal.
Yes. And I would say, so like if you're doing pizza, I would say, okay.
Pepperoni.
Like pepperoni pizza, deep dish, right?
Oh, it's got to be specific.
I would say the more specific, probably the better. But that's just me. And
pressure's kind of on. There's
some random like I feel like there's some random foods that we'll just have to kind of discuss a little bit, because I don't know like how specific you can like really be with some of them. But you're the guest, so I'll let you pick if you want the first pick or if you want the second pick. And when it comes to a snake draft, so if you go first, that means I go second and I get the third pick. But then you get the fourth and fifth pick. So it goes back.
Why do you get the second and third pick?
It goes back and forth. It goes back and forth. Does that make sense? So if you pick first, I get second, and then I go again, and then you go, and then you go again.
Like a snake.
Exactly. Snake draft. Got it.
You go first.
You want me? Fuck.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot here. Put me on the spot here. Put me on the spot here. Okay. Danielle, you say the words.
Anthony Totri, you are on the clock.
There's the whole thing here.
This is intense.
Okay. No big board. No big board at all. There's been zero preparation for this snake draft.
Not prepared for this.
I am gonna go with just give me a bacon cheeseburger. Like a good bacon cheeseburger is just a superstar. It hits at all times. Doesn't matter if it's a Monday or a Wednesday. It's gonna smack. I also had a fire bacon cheeseburger on Friday. I'm not gonna say where because no free ads.
That's not how it works.
No free ads. It was absolutely incredible.
Oh my God.
So I'm going bacon cheeseburger with my 1-1 here. You're up, Kelsey.
Wait, hold on. Pause. So let me make this clear. So I should be targeting for like the general like public as well, not just like my taste, right?
It's totally up to you how you want to draft.
Oh boy.
Normally, so what I will say is normally I draft for me, but when I draft for me, it doesn't usually do well in the grand scheme of the vote at the end. But I think at this point, because it's you versus me, people like to vote against me anyways.
That's facts.
So you could probably...
I feel like I like really specific, like flavorful things that might be, hopefully they're not hot takes. But with that being said, I think a meal, can I whisper it to you to see if it counts?
Yeah, I mean, you could type it. How about you type it?
Like, would this be specific enough?
Yeah, that would be specific enough.
Okay, because I feel like that, you have my point.
That's a great way to spell that.
All right, so again, I'm going to disclaim, this probably wouldn't be like my first meal that I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to throw down with.
It's a good one, though.
Do I love them? Yes, but I think you can't complain with where I'm going.
Okay.
So you let me know.
Let's see.
Does she do the sound?
No. It's just for the first pick.
Oh, it's just for the first one? Okay.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm going to say street tacos.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Street tacos
like
are good.
One.
Street tacos are good.
So I'm going street tacos, and you got to include the rice. You got to include the beans. You got to include it all, because hear me out. There's so many different meats.
Yeah.
You don't even got to put meat in there. You put any of the toppings you want.
I love street tacos.
Right?
Street tacos are good.
Because that's something you can have as little or as many as you want. And you can't really complain. You can't, there's nothing, a good street taco, top tier.
It is top tier. I would argue, a top three food, especially on a Tuesday. It's a Taco Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're back on the clock because you got two.
Okay. I'm thinking me now. This is me. I'm going chicken parmesan.
Ooh.
With vodka sauce.
Chicken parm. Parm.
You don't got to add that, but yeah.
I respect.
Sauce, but
I don't even know if we could fit
yeah.
with vodka sauce on there. Chicken parm. I don't know the last time I had chicken parm.
But once you have it, you're like,
it's got to be good chicken
that
parm.
Goes crazy.
It's got to be. Yeah. It does go crazy. I'll absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because you get a good chicken parm, it's filling, and it's just, I don't think you can beat that.
Street tacos and chicken parm. That's a solid 1-2 right there.
It's not looking good for you, Totri.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting from behind here. That's a really fucking fire list that you got. Okay.
Are you gaslighting me?
No, it is. I'm hungry as shit. So like, this doesn't make it easier.
So it's your turn again.
Yeah. So I'll go back to back here. I've got a bacon cheeseburger.
Did I go back to back?
Yeah, you
I
got
did.
street tacos,
got
chicken
it.
parm here.
I understand.
Okay. I feel like there's definitely a couple ways that I could go here. Okay. Give me steak.
Oh,
just give me steak.
Say that.
Give me steak. It is incredible. You can't beat it. It's a 5-star player wherever it goes. Doesn't matter what team it's playing on. It's starting at all positions.
Unless it's dry.
Unless it's dry.
Do you have a specific cut you like?
Ooh. This says a lot about him.
I mean, give me a filet. Give me filet mignon right there. I mean, if we're going, we're going, right? Like, come on now.
Hear me
that's
out.
what we got to do.
Hear me out. I would say ribeye has more flavor.
Okay.
It comes with, we get each other. Ribeye has more flavor. With that being said, filet, I feel like it just says that you want to be.
What does it say?
A little, like, you want to have the name. You want to be a little bougie because you want the filet mignon, but you don't want the real.
Filet mignon is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
All right. Now you go again?
Yeah. Give me fettuccine Alfredo. Good fettuccine Alfredo. I'm so sorry that you have to spell that. But it is so good. I haven't had it in such a long time, but like a really good fettuccine Alfredo is, oh my God, with some chicken in there. That and then a nap.
Yeah.
That's like my dream day right there. Okay, you're back on the clock now. And you go two times.
Yeah,
again.
I go 2.
I know one that I have to have. So I'll be upset if you take it.
Can I get a hint?
No, you can't get a hint.
I mean, I know what I like. I'm gonna say that.
I say you vote for you, or you draft for you.
You said that doesn't work.
For me, people don't fuck with what I like. Maybe they like what you like.
So I have 2 things in mind that I think that are just elite, but I don't know if it's a general population. I'm just gonna say it. I go sushi.
Fuck!
Ah!
Damn it! I should have taken it 3. I
think sushi because
Oh my
you
god,
can
I'm
go
gonna
for
get
the people.
destroyed.
You go for the people that don't like raw fish. You got cooked sushi. You can go to a sushi restaurant, get chicken teriyaki if you want, miso soup. You can get sashimi. You can get anything you want.
I will say, I don't know about you, I judge the hell out of people
That get not raw sushi.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have. Okay, you're gonna be like, what? I would have taken you to be someone that gets like a California roll or a cooked. Like,
That's so
roll.
offensive. That's so offensive. My gosh.
What kind of roll you get?
I mean, it depends. It depends on where I'm going. There are a couple really good places that, again, I can't name. Off camera.
Yeah, off camera.
because they're not, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to be the official sushi sponsor,
Step up.
hit up Max. Hit up Max Simpson. Okay, you're back. You're back on the come around here.
Okay.
God, sushi was such a fucking valuable pick there.
Yeah, that one's elite. I know.
I know one now that I have to draft because you took sushi. And if you take it, honestly, if you take this pick, you might win.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
And this
here.
is like we're thinking like entrees, like typical dinner.
I'm thinking that way, but you could go any direction. Like if you wanted to say like pineapple, you could draft pineapple. I guess I don't know.
That's a lot.
For like a
I
top
feel like
5?
Yeah, for top 5 foods, putting pineapple would be absurd. Okay. I'm trying to more so think where his head's at.
No,
So I
get
can
out of
get
my
it.
head. You already took the one glaring one for me, sushi.
I think.
God, I'm getting destroyed right now.
Okay, I got two options here. Did you hear that?
Yeah, just Max just yelling.
Max getting aggressive. Shoot. I know I'm taking too long. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say one that I think. I'm gonna go breakfast burrito.
Ooh, that's a good pick. That is a really good pick.
I'm going breakfast burrito because a breakfast burrito that's just crispy.
Such a good list.
It has hash browns in there. It can have avocado, whatever you want, whatever you don't want. But a crispy tortilla.
Okay, give me you're building a breakfast burrito. Give me 4 ingredients.
All right, I'm building
Tortilla is the only thing
That
included.
doesn't. Oh, okay. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
You're preying on my downfall. I would
Set you up to
go.
fail.
Well, eggs. Can eggs automatically be in it? Yes, eggs are automatically in it. Okay, so I go cheese. Make that John cheesy.
Make that John cheesy.
Ooh, probably chorizo.
Ooh, chorizo's fire.
Avocado.
Uh-huh. You're missing one for me.
Cheese, avocado.
You're just missing one. You nail it, then that's the breakfast burrito I'm
including
getting.
like sauces and stuff?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Am I start with T?
Not playing this game with you.
Come on. All right. Well, I would probably end up adding tomatoes to it.
Okay.
What would you?
Bacon. I go bacon and chorizo.
I thought I already chose my meat.
You could have 2. Give
All
me
right,
all the
fair
meats.
enough.
Come on now. That's how you do a breakfast burrito.
I have one more food.
Oh, you get one more pick at the end here, so I'm hoping I take it. Okay.
Now I'm upset.
Now I have to think to where her head would be. Okay, one pick that I have to take. It's like you just can't get around it. Go ahead, give me deep dish pizza.
Ah!
Give me deep dish pizza.
Dang it!
It's so fucking good.
Dang it!
It's so good. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Especially good deep dish pizza.
You can't beat that.
It's so good.
That might have saved you a little bit.
It might have just a tad.
It might have made you recover from fettuccine alfredo.
Wow, you really don't like fettuccine alfredo that?
I do like it, but if I'm going to get like Italian food, it's gonna be something that's got like like I don't know.
How do you feel about lasagna? I feel like lasagna. No, you're anti-lasagna?
I don't like lasagna.
Oh, Danielle?
I love lasagna.
Okay.
I don't like lasagna because it's like I don't like the what is that ricotta cheese?
Yeah.
Because if you put too much of that, like you're not appreciating anything else that's in it.
Just the cheese.
It is an overpowering flavor.
Thank you. It's a little too much. It's a little too much.
How do we feel? How do we feel about SpaghettiOs? Sorry, Max.
I haven't had SpaghettiOs since I was like 5.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. But
I think if you're 26, right?
Yeah.
If you're eating SpaghettiOs,
I'm not
at 26,
still eating SpaghettiOs. Damn it.
Totri's still eating SpaghettiOs.
What do you have against SpaghettiOs, huh?
It's time to grow up.
What about Chef Boyardee?
Like if you're,
He knows what the fuck he's doing.
does this count as like free ads?
Yeah, I mean probably.
I'm
a little
getting
bit.
you in trouble.
Thanks, Kelsey. Appreciate that. Okay, my last pick. I could go a bunch of different ways here with the food draft. How do I wrap it up? Do I go with what I like? Do I pander?
Go with what you like, Totri.
Oh, my what I get for breakfast anytime I go anywhere is an Eggs Benedict. Every time. I love Eggs Benedict. It is for sure a top 5 food for me. I can't make it for shit.
Have you tried?
No. But I just feel like it would be a tough thing to do.
I do love Eggs Benedict. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't see that's one of the
I don't think that's gonna be something that's like on like elite on your list.
It's not. Like if I was gonna be if I was pandering, I'd do omelet and people would fuck with that. But like
I would like Eggs Benedict more because of the sauce.
I would too, but normies
Yeah.
out there would vote for anything else. That pick is gonna hurt me, but I don't care.
You stand for what you believe in.
I love Eggs Benedict and I don't care who knows. Your final pick, Kelsey, bring us home.
I'm trying to think of a specific dish in this specific genre.
She's trying to cover all bases.
I know I am, so it caters to everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, just let me think.
Well, now I can help you because I'm out of picks, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So what are we thinking out here?
Like, can I say the genre?
You can say them, yeah.
Are you gaslighting me right now?
No, you can't.
Okay. I'm thinking something Chinese food.
Okay. I'm not a big Chinese food person.
See, that's what I'm thinking too. Is like people that might be a hot take.
Yeah, but I think
might mess
people either love it or they hate it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking but I don't know if that would like mess up my. I guess like it doesn't
I would say I like that, but I feel like that's not really Chinese
list.
food, is it? I feel like that's
Orange
like white
chicken?
people Chinese food. No,
I like orange
Am I
chicken.
wrong? No, I like
But
orange
I
chicken.
don't think that should be like.
That's not super.
not,
I
like,
wouldn't,
authentic.
I wouldn't call it super authentic.
Yeah,
but
this shouldn't be my list.
You can put it on your list.
No,
Kelsey,
no.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really think it matters what you pick in pick 5.
Because I've won.
Yeah, the first 4 are pretty good.
Dude, I'd honestly pick your fucking list over mine.
Okay. I'm thinking finish strong here.
You'd have to seriously blow it to lose this.
I know, but I think this is like the last inning.
Yeah.
It matters.
You're up 1.
Yeah.
We need insurance, Kelsey.
Yeah. You already said. I'm really thinking about it.
I know. I appreciate how much time you're putting into this pick.
Okay, you know what?
She's trying to build a powerhouse here.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like, no roster spot is going to be our weak link. What about?
This is the most thought anybody's ever put into a snake draft, and I
want to win.
We've done
I appreciate it.
upwards of 50 snake drafts. Never seen anybody take this much time for a snake draft.
And I appreciate it.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
with that being said-
you're doing phenomenal work here.
Okay, with that being said, I think this is gonna go as like an appetizer. Like this is gonna be like a healthy girl thing. A chicken Caesar salad.
Oh, fuck. If you were gonna go the healthy route, that was the way to go too, because it walks the line of healthy and not with the Caesar dressing, but it's fucking amazing,
right? Because I think that
I want your list. I don't want my list.
I think with that being said, I'm sorry, crew, that I took so long with that, but I needed to finish strong, and I think that was it.
I think if we swapped chicken parm for deep dish pizza, you'd have the greatest list of all time.
Did you know that Caesar salad is technically Mexican? It's
Is it
Mexican.
really?
Yeah, it was
Really?
invented in Mexico, so it's technically a Mexican food.
Wow.
Boom.
Look at you. You're just nailing them all there. Wow. Do you want to go through your list one more time just so everybody on audio knows?
Alrighty, everybody. Kelsey's final draft picks for our food rankings. We got at number 5, we got a solid chicken Caesar salad to cater to all your healthy butt filling needs. In front of that, we got a number 4, a breakfast burrito. You can make it any way you want. As long as it's a crispy tortilla with hash browns in it, you can't lose. We got solid 3. It's in there strong, but it isn't at the top. We got sushi. Again, can cater to all. Even Totri. Just kidding.
Totri.
He does eat raw sushi, so I can respect it. Second, just not at the top. We got chicken parm. Ugh, you can't beat that. I'm sorry. A good chicken parm, but you can beat it with a solid street taco dish.
Damn.
We got as many street tacos as you want. Rice, beans, toppings, limes. You want it, we got it. That is Kelsey's draft
I mean,
picks.
I'll give it to her. That's a really good list. That is a really good list. I'm hoping and praying that this meets the right audience, and they vote for me because I got a bacon cheeseburger, I got steak, I got fettuccine alfredo, I got deep dish pizza, and I got eggs Benedict. It's such a sad list. It's such a sad list after your list, dude. I'm so upset about it. But if you want to vote on who you think won this snake draft, head to PHNX Sun Devils on social. We'll post this a little bit later today. You can vote on it for who you think drafted the best foods. Guys, we appreciate everybody hopping in the chat today. If you enjoyed the content, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review. You can follow the show at PHNX Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow the one, the only, Kelsey Hall at Kels Hall. That is KELSSHAALL. Are we ever going to change that? Are we ever going to change the Twitter app?
Yeah, I probably should. That was made a long time ago.
Yeah.
I should see if there's a little
Just a
more
little
like
update.
Hey, easy, eggs Benedict.
Okay. Look, guys, that is going to do it for today's show. We will see you on Tuesday for a special show, a very, very special show. We've got a big announcement for tomorrow, so you are definitely going to want to be there. In the meantime, guys, you can also follow DJ Danielle and Abracadabra Danielle across social media. But go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.